Speaking of, we all know the reason Victoria is where it is was the decisions made by the Andrews government. We all know they've worked out their fall guy is this Andrew Crisp guy, the guy who's in charge of the emergency services in Victoria. But this week, we're going to learn about just how little the oversight was from government, because guess who's turning up at the inquiry this week into hotel quarantine? The guards will be giving evidence. Now, despite the fact that the findings might be kicked away for 6 weeks, it will become as plain as day. What was happening? Who failed? Nice try from those trying to spin and pretend that patient zero was a person who was working in the hotel. So the whole hotel quarantine stuff up with the security guards thing, it doesn't really count because it's not him who got it. You are aware of the stories that have been denied by no one about the guards routing the people in the hotel rooms. You are aware of the stories of the security guards who, after interacting with the people with COVID, went home to their families. You are aware, as you know, in Victoria, of the communities that were not being told in their own language what to do to defeat coronavirus. You are aware that under the Victorian Human Rights Bill, you are able to deny a test. All of this comes back to one person. Speaking of, I'll get to Ruby Princess in a second from now. We're also going to hear some tapes about the first meeting that helped decide that this thing was going to be done by private security guards. I repeat, the fall guy is going to be this Andrew Crisp guy. Andrews will slide. I don't like it, but that is what's going to happen because he's got his human shields in the media, his human shields on Twitter, and he'll be able to slide through. Meantime, more than 300 people have died in Victoria. It was at least noticed by the ABC, but not anywhere else but online today. As 16 more people lost their lives, how did we hear about it? From the Premier? No, Twitter. Twitter is how it was announced today that 16 Australians had lost their lives. Fair dinkum. All of this is the reason to stay angry. Not because it's Team Red, not because it's Team Blue. And those who want to pretend that it's about that, well, I'm sorry, don't actually understand what it's about. 300 people have died as a result of the failures that were put in place. Someone somewhere has to pay. And just because you stand up every day and do a press conference doth not undo the mistakes that you allowed to happen. I repeat, I'll get to Ruby Princess in a second.